Okay, on this last clip here, I just had a couple of points. So this is a very short clip, but they're two very good points, and that's why I have them on here. So let's take a look at this first point and see how it goes. Go in.
Oh my God, what a bounce.
Okay, great point. A lot of things going on in this one, so let's take a closer look at it. Number one, look how close Barb is moving up. And when you start getting serves coming in that are so short that it allows you to move up into the court, like any other situation, take time away from your opponents. Let's go with that person in front of you, which is exactly what she does right now. She tees off and goes right at Amy, and Amy's able to reflex it back. The important thing here is that, Barb is not trying to hit a winner. We're trying to simply take time away from your opponent, put him on the defensive, and so Amy reflexes the ball back. Now, when that ball reflexes back, now the question is, okay, where do we go with this ball? Do we go with the person who's further back in the court, or do we go with the person who's going to have less time? Another option, as you're looking at this picture right now, is you probably see what I can see is just drive the ball right between the two of them. And what happens with this one is Anita plays a nice ball, but she chooses the option of going back to the baseline person, and you can see she's hit a nice deep ball, but because she's going back to the baseline, Gail has time to move her feet and adjust herself into a position where she's on her heels. And what I want you to notice here is Anita's ball is put her on her heels. Watch Anita's feet. So Gail's on her heels. Anita's moving in, but when people are on their heels, how do they tend to hit the ball? It tends to go up in the air. And so Barb's hanging back, but what happens is Gail plays a great lob here, back over Anita's head. Okay, so here's Anita being stretched out, playing one of the toughest shots in the game. And from the perspective of Gail, after you hit a ball like that, I think we all know that someone's put it on severe defense and just start charging up in there. And Amy is in a good position. I think she can be up a couple more steps into the center because, my goodness, what can Anita do with that shot? Let's see what happens here. She gets it back over the net, and by not coming up early enough, okay, right now we can just see we've got the Grand Canyon open over here on the court, but with the ball bouncing, okay, it's bouncing. Now we can see Barb is running back into position. Anita is coming back into the picture. And this is exactly what happens when you let the ball bounce. It allows people to take 2 to 3 steps to get back into some sort of position to defend the balance of the point. And so now you don't have such a big opening to play it to. And so now we give Anita the ball above the net where she can play an offensive shot. Okay, and with the ball pushing Barb back, let's take a look here. The ball's pushing her back. She's more inclined. Is she driving or is she lobbing? And when players are back, if you look at Barb's feet, her weight is situated on her back foot, pretty much means the majority of the time the ball's going up in the air, which it does, and she chooses the best shot. She's got 2 people at the net. Let's lob up the center of the court. And once that lob goes up the center of the court, wow, tough get by Amy there, but pretty much on the defensive. Okay. Similar situation. Last time that volley put Barb back on her feet. Here Amy's played a very nice half volley and has put Barb back on her feet. She's backtracking. Pretty much means the ball's going up in the air, and where does she go with it with 2 people at the net? She lobs right up the center of the court, and once she's hit this ball, okay, So there's Gail's already almost all the way back on the baseline. So, hey, where the heck is Barb? I thought she's supposed to go to the net on that. And just in case it comes back, but the lob is so good that Gail isn't able to make a play on it. But if it did, again, when people are in trouble, when you pull them wide, when you push them back on their heels, when you can get the next ball in the air, this is one of the smartest, most efficient ways of taking time away from your opponents. Okay? So let's go into one last point here, which is a most excellent point. Because keep your eyes on Barb. Yes. There it is. What a great way to finish there. So let's take a closer look at that. And this is, if we watch, what makes this so good is the commitment. And so let's look at Barb's feet here. And instead of being very passive, watch how, once that she runs in there. And the ball, we can see where that ball is. The ball is on the outside over here. But that doesn't mean Barb is guarding her alley. Her instincts tell her the ball's coming back cross court, and she's made a commitment. She's halfway up in the box. The ball just came off of Gail's racket. She continues to move to that ball, and I know Amy can see it coming, but what can you do when someone is that aggressive on the net? And she puts her heart and soul into that shot, and kaboom, it is so nice. And this is, and maybe I'm a little overly dramatic, but all of you, we can do this so much more often on the court. Just be a little bit more aggressive in some situations with your feet. Sometimes we're aggressive with our shot making skills, whether it's driving the net person or going for a big angle, but be just as aggressive with your feet. It really makes a difference. You can see how close to the net Barb finished this point. And there are a lot of times we get these great volley opportunities, and not being close enough to the net keeps the ball in play more often than not. And when you are getting yourself this close to the net, again, let's just backtrack this for a second. And look how she just moves up there and is just on top of that ball. And there's not much you can do from Amy's perspective to play defense against something like that. So when you go to make a move like that, aggressively up to the net, treat it like you would like when you're going for a big shot up the alley or a good flat serve up the center, where you're just being bolder on some shots. So be bolder with your feet sometimes. And by the way, when you're getting more aggressive on the court with your feet, in fact, if we back up here for a second, that a lot of people don't move up because they feel like they're going to be vulnerable to a lob. But when you run up as aggressively as Barb is running, from Anita's perspective, when she sees her partner running up that aggressively, it makes it that much more obvious to her that if a lob does go up over Barb's head, it's much clearer to her that this would be her responsibility, because her partner has taken that chance of moving into a very aggressive position up at the net. And that's where your partner's got your back. If a lob goes up, no worries, my partner's got it. And if they don't lob, I'm all over this volley. Okay? So great stuff on these videos. Those are some really good points from Thursdays. And let's keep up the good work and start implementing some of this stuff into your regular play. Okay? Thanks, you guys.